pretty new to Reddit in general, and English is not my first language, so please be understanding. I got hooked on this subreddit right away, so I figured I should contribute with sharing my own experience. This happened to me about 6 or 7 years ago. I think I was 17. So it was the beginning of the summer, and I was traveling to the summer home like I did every summer. I live in a small southeastern European country, and this is pretty normal for most people here. I would usually travel by train overnight because I would get to sleep most of the trip. The train took about 8 hours. It didn't cross a great distance, but was really slow. Anyway, I have done the same trip alone a couple of times already and never had a problem. Also, this country is pretty safe, so taking this trip on my own was never really a concern for me or my parents. The train left at 11 p.m. and was scheduled to arrive at 7 in the morning, meaning I had 7 to 8 hours of sleep, which was great. At first, I was alone in the compartment, but after I got settled, a girl about my age asked me if she could join me in my compartment, and I said yes. We started talking a bit. You know the usual, where are you from, how old, what do you do? Even though I was comfortable traveling alone and was bigger than her and a year older, I was happy she was there. We talked until midnight and then decided to try to get some sleep. Since the train was pretty empty and it was just the two of us in our compartment, we could both lie down. The compartment had 3 seats on each side, so we each spread across the 3 seats. I had just started dozing off when I heard our compartment door opening. There was a man standing at the door. He looked at us for a second and then asked, "Do you have any room for me?" Now, what was weird about this was that, first of all, the train was pretty empty, so I was certain there were other completely empty compartments. Secondly, he saw us both lying down, taking up all the space, so there was really no need to ask. And finally, it was the way he phrased it, too. "Do we have any room for him?" The moment he asked this, I was still not sleeping. I squirmed a little bit and started to answer, but he left a second and I started squirming. I remember him closing the door as I was about to answer, and I thought it was weird, but whatever. My sleepy brain didn't want to bother, so I forgot about it instantly. I think the girl and I exchanged a WTF look, and that was it. However, not more than a 5 minute passed and he was back. Again the same, he opened the door and asked us if we had any room for him. I was a stupid, scared kid back then, so I just stayed silent and pretended to sleep. Luckily the girl was smarter than me, even though she looked timid, and she just sort of yelled at him, "No, can't you see there is no room? We're trying to sleep." He just closed the door and left. I kind of chuckled, probably my nerves. So she smiled at me, and that was it. I somehow managed to fall asleep again, although it was very light sleep, and I kept waking up throughout the night, probably for the best. The girl and I went our separate ways in the morning as we were both traveling further. I didn't have Facebook back then, so I didn't stay in contact with her, and I had forgotten her name over the years. Although for some reason, now that I'm writing this, Lavina rings a bell. I'll, however, be faithful, grateful to her for possibly saving me that night, and for teaching me you can always stand up for yourself, even if you are a small, fragile-looking girl. Didn't get a good look at the guy because it was dark, but my impression back then, he was between 30 and 40, so had no business to hang out with us. And if he wanted to sleep, he had plenty of empty compartments. That is why I think he had something else in mind. I'm happy the girl was there because I have no idea what I would have done on my own. I like to think I would have stood up for myself, but honestly, don't know.